I love watching any sports person try to be an actor.
Oh, it's the best.
It's like anti-acting. We used to make fun of it all the time. Even as kids, me and my brother and sister picked up on how bad sports stars were because they put them in TV series all the time. A little cameo guest appearance or something. You might have seen the Brady Bunch. And they used to love having baseball and football stars come on the Brady Bunch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so bad. What was the one guy? Daryl something or fucking, I don't know. He was
Strawberry.
It was an L.A. Dodger.
He's just smoking
way before
crack.
Strawberry's time. Yeah, yeah. Hey, groovy, let's smoke some crack with Daryl Strawberry. And then maybe you could fuck your father in the ass.
Yeah. Then that was also on the show Elf, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing right. But did you know that about the dad on Elf?
Oh, he was a fucking crazy crackhead Mo, right?
Yeah, like he loved black cock and crack. So
And
they
crack.
found all these photos of him like in a crack house blowing dudes and
Yeah.
smoking crack.
Yeah,
Big
the Alf
into it.
guy.
And the guy who wrote it was Jerry Stahl, who was a fucking huge heroin addict. He's a great author. He's
geez.
sober now. Yeah, who knew that a heroin addict would write a show about a alien that eats cats?
Yeah, that makes sense now. That makes perfect
But
sense.
yeah.
Oh,
Is
no.
this it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
It was him and his lover.
He must have loved that Alf's nose looked like that. Maybe he told him, like, hey, I want to redesign Alf. Yeah.
I want a dick
Yeah.
with 2 urethras.
Alf's face was just regular flat face. And he came up and said, I got an idea for Alf. Let me draw it for you. And just draws a fat fucking chode cock.
I want a cock so big it has rolls in it.
And I want so much cum in my face, I need 2 holes at the end for double the cum. Oh, look at this guy.
It's amazing because even when they just busted that guy down in Florida and you see his room with all the pills, and like, when you get caught, they really go all out. They never just catch you with crack. It's always shit like this.
Oh, my God. They're just sitting there naked, smoking crack. Wow.
And then he's got to go teach moral lessons to his family on television.
Yeah. Oh, wow. They're all degenerates,
Oh, yeah.
by the way. All the Hollywood thing. That's a whole nother thing that's been bubbling beneath the surface of the news for quite some time. And I'm not even talking, the shit with Corey Feldman, because he's just a fucking carnival barker of pedophilia.
He's a piece
for
of
Hollywood.
shit.
He's just a piece of shit. He's got new tweets out that he's re-releasing his stupid documentary. My Friend Got Pounded in the Ass, I think it's called, by Charlie Sheen.
They called the movie The Rape of Two Coreys, which somehow couldn't be shown.
Yeah.
On several occasions.
Right.
It's like, and then they interview Corey Haim's mom, and she's like, I don't think Charlie Sheen fucked him.
Yeah, I don't think that happened. But Corey.
Maybe.
Corey Feldman's giving it his all.
What's what I don't get is he's saying that about Corey Haim, where it's like, you hung out with Michael Jackson. Corey Feldman.
When you were a kid, when you were the age that he would fuck you.
Right. Never even just, I don't know, held your hand for too long or sat too close to
Nothing.
you on his bed where he allows kids to jump around. Self-admitted.
While he sets up fucking tripwires for parents that might come in.
Bells.
Like it's Da Nang. He's fucking wiring bells and
A series of bells because he's still 5 at heart.
What does this say? Oh, front toward enemy. Let me put this here.
You know what I like to do? I like to have 27 locks on my door.
Yeah.
And then when you go through that door, there's another door.
Yeah. This is my friend Mr. Claymore. We're going to put him here. This is his girlfriend, Bouncing Betty.
Yeah.
We're going to put a couple here. If the parents come, they're going to lose their balls. Yeah, but he didn't do anything to little fucking not E.T., Gremlins age fucking Corey Feldman.
Yeah. Believe me, he did.
Of course. Of course he did.
He came in that bowl cut so many times.
It's so fucked up. Like, there's so much going on. Like you just said, with the fucking fat guy, is he dead? Is he not dead? And that, the pedophile thing. I just saw, like, everyone has been accused of pedophilia in Hollywood, from the greatest directors, Spielberg, to America's Dad, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Shirley Temple's Hyman.
Yeah, Shirley Temple. I read stories where people back then in those Hollywood days with Shirley Temple would just outwardly say, Shirley Temple, for a young child, she had a nice set of legs. Like there was something written about Shirley Temple's, the shape of her legs were womanly.
Oh, God.
For a 6-year-old.
Well, yeah, probably because they beat her while she made her dance.
They were swollen.
Yeah.
A little girl's leg swollen looks like an adult woman's leg.
It's a growing body,
Sure.
and you're making it dance up and down steps all day.
She looks like the midget from fucking Total Recall. Yeah, when you make her dance up and down the stores with a Negro all day.
Exactly.
Tap dance.
Mother says I shouldn't talk to these. No, you're going to dance.
No, go ahead.
You're fine. This is for a film.
And there's Shirley's mother. Yes, dear, talk to the Negro.
Go ahead. I want money. Afterwards, go to the producer's office. The head of Warner Pictures is going to fuck you. Can you imagine? Bent over a desk by Mr. Warner himself.
Yes.
God damn.
That's what it was, and that's what I think it still is. When you see like the Alf guy, like tell me that other people in Hollywood didn't know that was going on.
There's no way people on the set didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they know what's going on. They don't say anything, and then when something like Weinstein happens, they all have to clamor and say, "Oh, we knew," and it's terrible, and but. Then why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you say anything?
Well, and in Jerry Stahl's book, he's pretty brutally honest. It's called Permanent Midnight, about that experience. I don't remember if he mentions that at all, but he does talk about his own heroin addiction. But he was a writer for like all these magazines in Hollywood before he got that job, and he just talks about these people with their real names being pieces of shit. Like, just bless you.
I'm sorry.
COVID.
You know
COVID.
what it is? I gotta also tell people. It's a beautiful day in New York today.
It is.
The sun's out and the fucking pollen is flying.
I also I think I'm going to vacuum.
Yeah?
I don't know. Maybe it could be pollen coming in.
It could be pollen coming in.
My
right?
head feels like it's going to explode. I get it.
Yeah, I got like that pin up the nostril feeling.
Well, it was also 9 degrees yesterday, and today it's like 70.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear about that.
It's got to suck if you get a regular old cold right now.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Because then you're like, oh, no, this is it.
There's no way. And then you look, and it's not even the symptom. Because a lot of the symptoms they range from nothing to not that bad to dead. That's all there's no middle ground.
No, it's fucked up. You'll have some sniffles, maybe a little sore throat.
Yep.
And then by the time you get a fever, you might as well just start digging a hole out there.
Yes, you'll have a bit of a dry cough. And by dry cough, I mean dry coffin. It'll be made of wood.
It's very dry. They've run out of good wood because everyone's dying. Dry coffin.
It's so weird. There's just no answers. And
no answers. We don't know anything. So we sit here and we're fucking under house arrest.
And I get what you mean by pulling down those clips. I feel like that happens when you're not supposed to know something. And then yesterday, the Pentagon just releases alien footage.
Oh, that's another thing that just
what the fuck is this? Like, how are you distracting us? And it's so weird right now. You're not even shocked. You're like,
look over here. Look over here.
Like,
it's a flying saucer. It's crazy. Just don't look over there.
Yeah, we got to pull some clips down. Aliens.
Oh, no, the doctors were right about this. Pull the video down. People are getting mad. Oh, no, look, UFOs. Oh, shit. What do we got there? That's how they treat us. That's, this is fucking amazing. I love this shit.
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
I just love how fighter pilots are calling each other dude. They're all frat bros. Yo, dude.
I also love that this is the technology.
Yeah. It is moving. Like, it's rotating.
Oh, it's weird as shit.
And then this thing. I like this because he's trying to cap it. He's trying to get it, track it, and it's going so fast. And when he finally gets it, he's all excited about himself like a video game.
Yeah. God.
He's like, "Whoa, got it!" I understand that from playing video games.
Yeah. Now shoot
And they're all
it.
laughing that he capped it, not the fact that it's some kind of fucking flying saucer.
which makes me think they've seen a lot of this.
Yeah.
Shoot it.
We're laughing at it.
It's so weird.
Pilots. Yeah, it is strange. Those were declassified. They had come out earlier, leaked, as they say. And the Pentagon said, we don't know about this. We don't know anything, blah, blah, blah. So then yesterday, the Pentagon decided to put them out themselves and say, yes, these indeed are unknown to us. We don't know what they are. We've investigated it and still have no clue. People, and this again for years, and if I may bring up the Brady Bunch yet again.
Please.
UFOs are unidentified flying objects. UFOs do exist.
Of course.
Because they're things you don't know what they are. They're not necessarily alien things. And so many people write articles that say, do you believe in UFOs? Well, yeah, I believe there are things that are unidentified that have been flying around, that no one knows what they are. It doesn't mean they're flying saucers or alien things. It could be experimentation from our country or another country or whatever. But they still do these articles where they say Pentagon admits to UFOs. And it's like, yeah, they admit they don't know what the fuck it is. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's a flying saucer.
They admitted they couldn't identify what very well might be a swallow.
Right. It doesn't. Yeah. And in the Brady Bunch, they had a UFO, and it was just Greg. Greg was using a whistle and a projector on a plastic screen and going, woo.
What if they...
Yeah.
They just open it up. It's just Mork with a noose around his neck. Noose.
He didn't know. Greg was doing it, and he was trying to fool Bobby, and Bobby had a dream that he was going into a UFO, and it was his father's ass. Because you can't talk about the Brady Bunch without talking about a flaming Mo. Mike Brady was.
And then, of course, back to the dad from Elf.
Right, dad from Elf.
He kept the alien so he could use its penis mouth on him when all his kids were asleep.
He could fucking sodomize himself with that schnozola.
That's why he's eating cats. Just wanted to get the flavor out of his mouth.
Oh, my God.
Hey, you know what your dad does? He fucks me at night.
Hey.
What?
And yeah, there was like a kid on the show and everything.
Yeah, it was like best friends with a kid. There was an episode. It is the weirdest episode of television ever. I was tripping my balls off on acid when I first saw it, so I had to go back to see if it was real.
Perhaps that's why it's the weirdest episode.
But it's him and it's Elf, and Elf eats the couch, and it turns out Cotton gets him high.
Oh.
So he's up all night singing New York, New York with a top hat on because he's just lit. The next day, the dad goes off on him about his drug addiction.
Oh, Jesus.
And he goes, here's some aspirin, and he slams it down. And as he turns around, Elf sneaks the cotton out of the aspirin and eats it, and the dad goes fucking apeshit.
That's really funny.
Yeah, and when I was watching it, though, tripping, I'm like, is this real? Like, I'm looking at all my friends, and like, this is happening, right?
This isn't this isn't me.
I couldn't believe that this was, because the guy is furious, screaming at Elf about his addictions. And then,
you know, projection makes for great acting.
Oh, dude, he was talking to himself.
What are you sucking that big black cock for?
He's like, wait, what?
Oh, wait, cut. Where did that come from? Why
do you keep calling the cushions he ate ass pillows? But yeah, I went and I looked at it, and yeah, I was like, oh shit, it was real. And then that's when I found the article that he just showed. And this was years ago, where I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a monster.
This guy's a fucking monster. Yeah, and then he's working on a daily basis with a child with this kind of proclivity to fucking debaucherous sexual and drug.
I feel like there's such a stepladder too, because and I say this is a drug addict, you know, like there's this stepladder where your behavior goes so far. Like he did a lot of shit before getting to like photography and cocksucking and crack. Like there's a lot of steps.
You don't start that whole journey in life with the camera and the crack pipe and the naked black guy.
Nobody's first drug experience is hiring a naked black guy, sucking his dick while smoking pot, and then smoking crack, and then having it be a gateway to weed.
No. You work yourself into that.
Right.
You might start smoking a joint while masturbating to Gary Coleman.
Yeah, that might be a first.
Like you start that way, a little more personalized.
Your proclivities might be weird,
Right.
But they're not shameful and career ruining.
Yeah, you don't bolt right into that.
If people have asked me if I think marijuana is a gateway drug, and it's like, yeah, but I don't think it's bad because a lot of people can not do stuff past it.
Yeah.
But for me and a lot of people, yeah, if you get high once, you're going to be like, oh, I wonder what's next, what's next, what's next. And for people like that, that's who it doesn't work out so well for.
I don't know if marijuana is so much a gateway drug as it's just a drug.
That's
and
more acceptable.
Like if you take weed out of the mix, I think you'd still have as many cokeheads and crackheads and meth heads and people doing other things. I think they'd start with that. I think it's just such a logical starter drug. Everyone can smoke weed. I don't think everyone is going to go on to the next thing. I think the people that do go on to the next thing would have anyway if there wasn't any such thing as weed. You know, I just don't see it like that.
Yeah.
It starts people on that road. I guess it can, but I don't think it's a big a percentage of people as they want to make you think when they were doing that whole dragnet kind of. It's a gateway drug.
Yeah, I don't really believe, I guess I should say so much that it's a gateway drug, but at one time, people were pretty afraid of drugs.
Oh,
and that was
yeah.
the first one that people would do.
Made
and then that would
hysterical
lead,
television.
Yeah, and that would lead to, more, I shouldn't say normal, but more normal drugs, like LSD, mushrooms, whatever.
Right.
It was a psychedelic experience. It was something more artistic than it was a drug.
I think it justified it more.
Yeah,
Like you could smoke a joint and it didn't have the stigma on it as coke or heroin, especially, or anything like that. But once you smoked weed, then you realize, oh, I could just go to the next thing.
Right.
Like I get that, but I know a lot of people that only smoked weed and never.
Oh, me too.
More so than went on to other things, I think.
Well, and I think making it legal is what's going to benefit that, because all of a sudden it stops being on an equal playing field with heroin.
With all the other
yeah,
shit.
which is what I think the problem with it was to begin with, was ever outlawing it.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you go from, and now I guess, I think the playing field has changed, I guess, is a good point you've made, because now you have opiates and this shit that was prescribed to some people who have never even smoked weed, and now they're a heroin addict.
It's as far as drugs are concerned, to me, the biggest thing that has happened in the course of even 20 years is the acceptability of heroin.
Oh, yeah.
Like growing up, of course, weed in the 80s, coke, did some meth, did some LSD, some mushrooms, some fucking mescaline, all that shit, tough guy. But the line between even all that and heroin was a chasm. Like you never fucking crossed that line. And within 20 years, heroin became as acceptable as, a fucking Valium.
Yeah.
Or shit. And that's, to me, really turned the tide of why we see so many young people dropping dead of opiate overdoses.
Well, and there is prescription heroin. It's just under different names, obviously, oxy, different, and then you have essentially stuff that's prescription cocaine, which is, for ADD. Like, that'll make you focus.
Yeah,
They
Adderall.
keep you up
Or
for
what
a
is
day.
it? Ativan?
Adderall. Well, there's different versions of it, and then there's others that's more potent. So you have that available to people. And even when I was a kid, I remember the first time people got got Adderall for focusing.
Yeah.
They all of a sudden also had hyperactivity disorder.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, yeah, you're giving a 6-year-old
You're giving them
Coke.
speed. What are you doing? Of course.
So basically, you're now cutting it with a Xanax, and now you're wondering why he's dead at 16. Well, I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
because you wanted him to focus.
It's the same thing. Oh, I got sneezing again.
Oh, heavens.
You motherfucker.
Bless you.
We talked about how drugs. We talked about how
It's coming
like
out a hole.
they're prescribing they're prescribing too much to too many people. Hence the heroin thing. They started prescribing pain medication that was heroin, prescription heroin. When that became too expensive, people went out on the street and got heroin. So again, the legal pharmaceutical industry wound up fucking this country over with getting people addicted to a drug that they then didn't even have control of. Street heroin. I mean, where's the plus side in that?
And it's come to the point where China produces the drug. All these other countries produce the drug where we get it. It's
China
not
again,
just
thank
America. Yeah. And then you had people making their own pills. And then you had people, and now heroin. And I've lost so many friends to heroin. And when we were young, it was because they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
You inject a drug for the first time.
That was right. That was when you heard someone died. They OD'd. They took too much. They did it wrong. They fucking, that's what you heard. And then you just heard, no, it's just if you take it, you'll die, or maybe you won't.
Yeah, now with fentanyl, which is like super heroin, they're like, I don't know. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
And the good news is if you live, it'll feel real good.
Yeah. Isn't that fucking amazing?
I just don't.
Yeah.
And I get it because you're addicted.
Right.
It's so easy to get addicted to pills and shit, especially if a doctor's saying you need this.
Yeah.
And then one day he goes, you don't need it anymore. And you're like, so what do I do?
No, I need it.
Yeah, I don't want to have a seizure from withdrawal.
Yeah, go suck a black guy's cock. Get yourself a stuffed Alf animal and go at it, my friend.
Take it to town. You're going to be fine.
I think the Goonies, all the Goonie people, got together for a Zoom meeting.
Oh.
Kind of a reunion. Could you pop that up? I think, and it was... No, I didn't send you shit.
Sorry.
I didn't send you shit. No, I know. Yeah, it's fine. You can find it eventually, I'm sure. And it's weird because Corey Feldman is part of it, and Steven Spielberg is part of it. And Steven Spielberg has been, all right, the accusations are a little far-fetched, but with what we've seen in Hollywood, Alf Guy, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. And I've heard things about, the girl that was in Poltergeist.
Yeah. Well, she died of impacted bowels.
Yeah, what's her name? Heather O'Rourke.
Yeah.
And she died, of a digestive, a bowel problem.
Right.
And the accusations are that she was fucking rented out to these Hollywood executives that destroyed her insides by raping her, and she died. And Spielberg was supposedly part of that.
Yeah, or at least aware of it.
And right.
This was, I know Spielberg produced this, had a big hand in casting. I know Richard Donner directed, but who knows if that was to take his hands off of it, at the time.
Right. Yeah, just a lot of weird shit. So
and I hope he's not. I really do, because I like him so much.
That has to go into the Michael Jackson category of, if Bad comes on the radio, I'm still listening to it.
Yeah. I'm not going to turn off Jaws.
I ain't turning it off. I ain't turning off fucking Jaws. I ain't turning off Close Encounters, motherfucker. I'm watching that shit.
Although, now that we say the titles of his movies, I'm starting to think maybe.
Close Encounters.
Jaws.
I do believe, if I hear, da-na-na-na-na-na, hey, I'll turn it off and go, you fucking freak, motherfucker. But, Schindler's List, I'm watching it.
I'm going to watch it.
One of the greatest comedies ever made.
A secret list.
Schindler's Secret? Should we call it Schindler's Secret? I don't know. It was secret from the Nazis. Yeah, but it was for a list. Yeah. I don't know.
Should we redo your script to maybe make this take place during World War II?
Yeah, the little girl yelling goodbye Jews in 1989 New York.
Just seemed odd. It just seems odd that the next scene you get to have sex with her because she was so rude. We should probably cut that out of the film.
Yeah, maybe that. Like, I'm not going to watch Saving Private Ryan because of things he might have done.
Yeah,
watching it.
Could maybe the kid's asshole be the beaches of Normandy? Yeah. Because, by the way you've described it.
Yeah, the way you've described this. Can we set this in World War II
again?
And maybe have the invasion of Normandy Beach. That would explain all the blood you have here on page 16, where the child is involved and it's a pillow.
You've already called it the invasion of Norm. You really just have to add a couple letters.
Right, and his sister D. Norm and D get invaded, and there's a lot of blood.
Let's just put it all together. And
Right.
Add some soldiers.
People will watch this without being too horrified. Not as horrified as your original draft.
Well, it's also like it's also Stephen King, who's so
yes, he's another one.
yeah, where he's had this insane amount of sexual misconduct with kids in his books, and even in the movie It. Me and McClowery once did a sketch about it somewhere online, but I'm interviewing him, and McClowery's great 'cause he's Aspergery. So,
he's fucking great.
Oh,
man.
he's so funny, and he's playing Stephen King, and I'm like, I like the book. I just before we let it out, I'd like to talk about the group orgy of children you have in the middle of the book. And he's like, yeah, well, it's supposed to just express kids growing up, and that's
right.
the moment
It's
of
a certain
transition.
loss of innocence.
Yeah, I'm like, but couldn't it be kids not having sex with each other? And he's like, I'm just not seeing the problem here. And then we ended with it just with like a Larry David song of just him like this.
Bum, 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 which, by the way, is the greatest song for the end of a fucking meme
anything,
I've ever seen in my life. It works every time.
Every
It's
single
funny.
time it's the best way to end.
Every single time.
And I never read it. I read part of it, and then I looked at it years ago and I was like, wow, this is fucking disgusting. Like, he's seriously a disgusting man.
There's always every fucking thing he writes has a child or children in a horrible situation. And there is a sexual aspect to a lot of it. Even The Shining, where you see young Danny supposedly sexually assaulted. I think that was supposed to be what happened to him when he went into the room at the Overlook, the room 22 what?
Yeah.
Room 227. No, that was a TV show.
I love that show. It's
But-
just a bunch of people on the porch being sassy.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah. Jack Hay just walks up.
Jack A. Now listen, Jack A. I'm Jack Nicholson.
Jack Hay's the bartender.
Jack A. Your money no good here, Miss Torrance.
You've been here all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jack Hay, see ladybugs.
You always been the caretaker, Miss Torrance. Jack A. Oh my God.
So funny. But I think you're right, and Stanley Kubrick, I have a feeling, scooted over that.
Yeah.
And probably got in an argument with him about
That's
it.
probably
And
why
I
Stephen King didn't
hates
like
it
it. There
so
wasn't enough
much.
child sex
'cause he's
in the
like-
fucking movie.
He's like, what do you mean he just looks at the twin ghosts? No, he just sees them in the hallway. He's like, you have 3 kids and there's not an orgy?
Yeah. Aren't they supposed to? I don't know. Isn't young Danny supposed to correct my 2 daughters? They had to be corrected.
Why is his asshole an elevator of blood? You realize that was a metaphor in the book. I'm seeing a screen here.
I think you fucked your whole family, Grady.
I hate Stephen King.
Oh, fuck Stephen King. Fuck him in the ass.
I watched that new show, too, The Outsider, because I heard it was good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't. There's, I don't know.
By the end of it, I'm like, yeah, like the first 2 that, why am I blanking on his name? A guy from Ozark.
Oh, yeah, that
Blanking
guy.
on Jason Bateman.
Jason
And,
Bateman.
the first 2 he wrote and directed, I'm like, oh, this is great. And then he was out of it, and you're like, I didn't mean to ruin that, but I ruined so much shit on
Then,
here.
he dies.
So he dies.
No one wanted to watch it anyway.
No, if you
Terrible.
Yeah, and I just watched it because I wanted to see it through to the end, and I'm just not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
There's too much content for me to keep wasting my fucking time.
No
praying
shit.
for a new show or situation show, drama, whatever. that's
Yeah,
funny.
you ever do that? You binge something and then halfway through you're like, motherfucker, I think I wasted 8 days. I wasted a week Like, because I don't give a fuck. I don't want to watch. There was a, what the fuck was the Stephen King series where the guy goes back in time with JFK, the assassination? That was Stephen King, right?
I think so. I think it was.
Yeah.
Fuck, I know what you're talking about.
Who was the guy? Because he was.
I'm trying to remember if it was Stephen. I think it was Stephen King.
I think it was Stephen King.
What is it?
What's that? Yes.
11/22/63. Was that Stephen King? Okay.
Yeah, it's Stephen King.
Was there a movie that they called? Was it a different name for the series?
No,
though?
I think it was the same name for the series.
11/22/63.
Yeah. Yeah, and I watched it because, first of all, with time travel shit and me, you really got to fuck it up for me not to like it. I just dig that whole fucking genre. Any kind of time travel and shit, trying to affect the future by doing something in the past or the present, is great. So I'm watching this, and it turns out to just be awful. And it was, the fucked up thing is, it's compelling enough at the beginning to rope you in because you're waiting for something to happen. Oh, right, he was in it.
Yeah.
What's his name?
James.
It's not his brother. It's
fucking Franco.
Franco.
Thank you, Drew.
Who, by the way, I really am not a fan of in most things.
No, he's good in some things.
Some things he's really good. I liked him in that stupid Western thing he did. That goof from was it the Farrelly brothers or the other brothers? It was the same guys that did Fargo. I love when we go 18 deep into our fucking things going on here.
It was a Coen Brothers movie, but
Coen
I'm trying
Brothers,
to think
right.
of the name. Yeah.
It was Coen Brothers. It was like that fucking guitar playing on the horse guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good in that. Like, he had a segment. It was a segment of part of the movie, and it was.
He's good in
good.
This Is the End because he just plays a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and then,
piece of shit, which they all are. That whole group of guys.
That's what I thought was
are
funny.
pieces of shit.
'Cause people didn't like it. I just loved how they were all garbage. And
It's like, this is exactly what they'd be like.
Yeah,
They're pieces of shit.
And Danny McBride's the worst one.
Oh.
He has the best intro to any character in that movie where he's just laying in the bathtub and it's smoke rings. And then he just comes out and washes his feet with the remaining bottled water and is just eating all their Egos. It's like, I made you breakfast.
Danny McBride is fucking great.
He's really
very funny. And I think out of the whole asshole thing, like, I don't know why, but he's likable.
Dude, that is the best intro.
Oh, is that great?
Just this complete douchebag. It's just a great parody of himself. Because he's not quite Kenny Powers. He's more unlikable playing himself.
Yes, he's more unlikable as himself.
And I like his story because he sort of... Dude, this is just... fucking, it's the best song. It's the best intro.
Yeah.
Just smoking weed, eating all their food, not giving a shit.
The reveal.
He was blacked out, so he doesn't even know there's an apocalypse, or that the rapture's happening. And I love that's the idea is all the good people have gone to heaven, so all these movie stars are stuck here.
Are just shit. Yeah. The rapture has happened, and what's left of these douchebags?
Yeah, and this is all the food they have, and he's just making them breakfast.
And he's just binging on their rations.
So fucking good.
God, is that good?
Yeah, and some people hated it, but I love that.
No, I
movie.
like that.
There's a part where fucking what's his name today? I'm usually so good at this.
We're all what's his name today. Yeah.
The not Seth Rogen, the fatter, younger.
Oh, yeah.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
I got it. But Jonah Hill he gets fucked by a demon. Like, all you see is the silhouette of this big demon cock and him screaming.
And you're going to get fucked by a demon in this part.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, great.
Fucking Craig Robinson steps on Aziz Ansari's hand, so he falls into hell, and then he comes and he's like, I tried to save Aziz.
Yeah, it's all them just being assholes.
Yeah, they're just garbage people.
Pieces of
It's
shit.
so funny to me.
We're kind of seeing that now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. That's why I like Danny McBride's stories. He made an
celebrities.
indie film after not making it in Hollywood that Will Ferrell saw, and then he got,
Is that fucking, which one
Foot
is that?
Fist Way.
Yeah.
It's great. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a fucking good one.
So he wasn't like a young star. He kind of just, not like really late, but he made it later. So he's a more grounded guy, it seems.
Right.
You know, he's more appreciative of what he has. And yeah, because he didn't make it, so he went and made this film, and Will Ferrell saw it, and that's how he ended up getting the Kenny Powers role.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that's fucking awesome.
But yeah, Foot Fist Way is a great indie film.
Yeah. Like that one too.
Yeah.
He's good, man. Anything he's in is
And I
fucking
watched that
really
Arizona movie, and I thought it was good.
fun. Crazy fucking movie.
Because his menacing is fucking that.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's a comedy that's really brutal.
Yeah, it's very.
You know, it's fucking. I laughed my ass off and then realized how awful I was laughing at some of the shit that I found funny.
Because you feel for him to a degree.
Right, to a degree, and he's just a fucking terrible person.
Yeah, he lost everything investing in this shit complex in 2008 before the housing market crashed. What's weird too is how it's based on a true story.
Yeah,
you wonder how much, but you know it's real.
Right, how many people actually felt that way and
you
wanted to do that after being fucked over.
Right, and you can only, and when you watch it, there's only certain people that can play a dickhead and have you like them through a film.
Yeah,
It's a
and that
skill.
is an amazing thing to be able to pull off.
Yeah, people say he's one note, but it's like I've seen different ranges of that note. You know,
Yeah,
and he's good at what he does.
And that's something I've always found amazing is a character that is just despicable that you're pulling for, that you're just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, you still want him to win.
I want this fucking real
blood on
murderous,
his hands.
disgusting piece of shit to make it in the end.
Yeah, because you feel bad. You're like, who am I going for now?
Yeah.
This girl who did nothing, who's tied up for this fucking monster who did lose everything, so he's just snapping. He's not, he's not really a bad guy. He just keeps fucking up.
There are so many things like that. Ozark was like that.
Oh, yeah.
Where, you know, again, everyone in it is a piece of shit. Much like The Sopranos was another thing where every character, you might be bamboozled when you first start watching The Sopranos. I get so jealous of people that go, hey, I just started watching The Sopranos, first episode today, Anthony. I know you've talked about it. I'm like, motherfucking lucky cocksucker.
Enjoy the
You
ride.
get to enjoy it from the beginning like this. And when you watch that first time through, you'll see characters that are so sympathetic and you think they're noble or righteous or good people. And then the more you watch The Sopranos over and over again, you realize there's not one fucking person in the entire show ever that is good. They're all pieces of shit.
The closest one is Maltasanti's girlfriend, and she's still a piece of shit.
Oh, and she's a piece of shit. She loves... The thing is, the ones that seem like the innocent ones that are dragged into this love the lifestyle, and they know what it is. They know it involves murder. They know it's crime. They just love the money. She loved that Christopher gave her the club. She's fucking snorting coke and doing ecstasy.
Stripper.
And yeah, all that shit. And so she's just a piece of shit too. She looks down on people that aren't in the life. All that stuff. They're all fucking piece of shit. I always thought the most innocent guy in the whole thing was the poor fucking landscaper that got his arm broke. Like, that guy really fell into a thing. But again, he knew he was mowing mobsters' lawns. He knew it.
And, well, yeah, and then I love that Steve Buscemi puts himself in for a season because he's great, and he's just a pile of garbage. Like,
Oh, what an asshole he was.
he's like, I just want to get out of prison and be a masseuse. He's like, you want to be a what?
Yeah. I'm going to get my massage license. Are you?
It's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, after I beat this chink up,
Yeah.
I'm going to blow all that.
Just kills the dude's son.
And he fucks it up so bad he shoots that guy. Yeah, he shoots him and his fucking and his stripper girl in the car, and then he limps away. He just fucks it up.
And acts like he didn't do it.
Yeah, Tony, you better not be lying to me.
Yeah. Oh, I loved him.
It's just great. Every so often, me and Missy will be scrolling through channels and there's nothing on. We'll just go, is it time? Is it time? Yeah, it's time.
Gotcha.
We'll just fucking watch Sopranos.
But it isn't amazing how you say that because there are very few series where everybody's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And even with Ozark to hang on, Jason Bateman's become kind of the guy who's trapped.
Yeah.
Because he didn't mean to get in that situation. His kids are also kind of trapped, but they're not really. Like, the son's pretty good. The daughter's starting to get a little, you can see the power hungry.
Right.
The wife is a cunt. And now it's becoming where you're rooting for Jason Bateman. But, of course, he was laundering money for the cartel.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really
It's a power thing. It's a lot. Oddly enough, Ozark is a lot like Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
The husband wants to take care of his family, and he's fucked. He knows he's pretty much a dead man. Like that's kind of the scenario. So anything goes. Whatever it takes to save my family, that's what I'm going to do. The thing is, every step he took to save his family put his family in more danger. But it was justified under that umbrella of saving my family. So while I think he thought he was doing something good for his family, at this point in the series, even he can't be that delusional.
No, especially when he got better. Like, the end didn't justify the means. And they added that part where, okay, he should be a billionaire. He should have made all this money off his company that he sold for $10,000. He has a lot of reasons to be bitter. He's a teacher. His son's handicapped, all that stuff. But then there's a point where once he kills somebody, you're kind of like, I don't really like this guy anymore.
All bets are off.
And then I love that Jesse was supposed to die in the first season, but he was so good. They're like, I think we got to keep him on because you start rooting for Jesse because he's growing up. And trying, minus the shit movie they made about him. But I mean, just in
I don't consider that part of the canon.
They just forget it happened. But you see him grow up and suffer for all these things that he didn't really. He was just a druggie.
It is interesting to watch early on Breaking Bad, where the relationship between literally a teacher and a student, like that was a weird, because Walter, of course, had all the power over the student.
Right.
That's how those relationships work. And to watch that change to a point where, I don't know, they were pretty equal in power as far as the two of them were concerned. Obviously, outside of it, he's the big drug dealer guy. But
but eventually it became where Jesse was even more powerful. He became a monster.
Yep.
And that's why that's what I liked about the ending was he dies with his machine. He's a monster who dies with his monster.
Yeah.
And that's what he deserved.
Yeah. That was really good. And again, Walter is just a piece of shit.
Right. And his wife was this piece of shit fucking around on him, but she thinks she's better. Her name's Skylar to just make you hate her more.
Skylar.
and
I'm going to done.
Yeah. And so you just feel horrible.
No, Dad. I'm going to the car wash, Dad.
And the son, too, is accepting fucking, I think it was a Dodge Charger his dad buys him.
Right, he fucking buys off his retarded son with a car.
Yeah, some $50,000 car that he's, and that he'll take it then. But, as he goes a little bit more, he's conflicted. But you go...
Walking back. I never saw that one. How did I miss that?
That's hilarious.
Fuck, is that funny?
Instead of making meth, he probably could have just came up with a cure for his son's ailment and fixed everything. He's like, I gotta make the greatest meth ever. Can you make medicine to help?
Help your fucking gimpy son.
Help old clubby feet walk.
An old fucking cow tongue. Maybe you could shrink that tongue down. A comedy is another thing where if you get a group of people that are just horrible people, it doesn't seem like it would work, but Seinfeld is a great example of that. There is not anyone with a redeeming quality in that show. They are all pieces of shit, self-centered, narcissistic fucking assholes, and it's hilarious. I don't know how that works either, but...
Well, and I never realized this until recently because I watched it as a kid, but Saved by the Bell is actually all pieces of shit kids. And it's... Zach Morris is doing anything he can to scam people. AC Slater's just a rip guy who wants to bully everybody. Screech
especially toenail fungus.
Exactly. Screech he hates it. Screech just wants to be liked, but he's willing to do anything and sacrifice himself for it because he's such a weak person. Kelly just does anything to be liked and get attention. The other one, what's her name? Elizabeth Berkley.
Right, Berkeley. She'll
Jesse.
strip.
Yeah, she'll fucking take pills to stay awake and do anything she can for that awful "I'm so excited" episode, just so she can get into a fucking Stanford or whatever.
Wasn't
it
it
was.
supposed to be under the guise of youthful ignorance or something?
It was, but then
like
you-
they're trying to sort things out in their young lives.
Yeah, but then you have Lisa, who's this rich girl who doesn't give a fuck about poor people, and then Mr. Belding, who's just this pathetic asshole trying to make the school look like it's better than it is.
Didn't he get caught smoking crack with naked black guys? I don't know.
He had a thing where he did do some weird movies.
Really?
Yeah, he did some. Like he was on West Wing, and they tried to put him in other. You can't put Mr. Belding in other shit.
Yeah.
I saw an ad with him. He's like, that's interview with him, and he's like, I'm on West Wing now. It's why I grew the mustache to separate from my other.
He's just
character."
typecast,
It's like,
right?
no, you're Mr. Belding.
Isn't that terrible? Like some people get typecast, they don't realize they're typecast, and then once you realize it, it's too late.
Oh, you're done.
There was a great example of that was Fred Gwynn. Fred Gwynn, of course, was Herman Munster on the Munsters. Now, Fred Gwynn is a really good actor. He was a really good actor.
Up that road.
Yeah, yeah. He got on the Munsters. He had done stuff before the Munsters. He was on Car 54, Where Are You? Comedies and things like that. But
Yeah, like The Judge and My Cousin Vinny many years later.
many years later, yeah. But that was what it took. It took so many years after the Munsters. No one would cast fucking Fred Gwynn because you'd see him and go, oh, that's fucking Herman from the Munsters. I'm not putting him in my movie. Everyone's going to see him and go, that's Herman from the Munsters.
Right.
So he does Pet Sematary, and people go, wow, Herman from the Munsters was really good in Pet Sematary. And then he does My Cousin Vinny as the judge, and you got away from the Herman Munster thing. You
Oh,
just
you don't
went
even
like,
see it.
oh, that's fucking, that judge is really good. And then his final act of dying really fucked that up. Like he could have recaptured a great acting career as an elder statesman of Hollywood, overcoming that typecasting of Herman Munster, but he died.
He did.
There's just no justice,
Well,
man.
and I think
Poor fuck.
what's interesting about that is the shittier the series, like the more ridiculous,
Yeah.
the easier it's going to be typecast
Oh,
because
you
nobody
think Gilligan
wants to-
ever got another fucking
Fuck
job
no.
after Gilligan's Island?
Well, look at Bob Crane.
Yeah.
From Hogan's Heroes.
Yes.
He had his fucking head bashed in. That's all he was doing.
Head
Was,
bashed apart.
there was blood everywhere. He's making sex videos.
Someone took a tripod while I was fucking a girl and bashed my head in.
His name was John Carpenter, but not the director.